Plum and her husband had bought that house. Had a driveway.
On 14th and...
Right here.
And
not even a block
and
from your
Willow.
house, right on the
Okay.
right-hand side.
Okay.
So, my grandmother and me would be there. Look, they had this trailer that we lived in because back then, black folks couldn't find anywhere to live. They had lived at Father Divine's house where they separated the men and women. My grandfather got up there and cussed everybody out because the women were upstairs and the men was downstairs. And he said, well, goddamn it, if he sleep with his damn wife every night and she white, why I got to sleep down here with these men and can't sleep with you? Oh, he raised community. So, there, and then he went to, Mama said, well, I don't have to live like this. I got a house back in Arkansas. And that's where I'm going. So he went to work. He was working for a place called, it was a valve company right there at 24th and Nordstrom.
Oh.
Valve company right at 24th and Pearl. You know that little
Yes.
battery and alternator place is? It's in that building, that brick building with all those warehouses now. But I think at that time that little corner might have been part of it. But anyway, that's why we moved here, because he could walk to work on 16th Street. So he went to work and he told his boss, I have to quit because my wife is not satisfied with our living arrangement. So the good white folks told my grandfather, he said, Andrew, I hate to lose you. You're the best worker I got. Take this down to the housing authority and tell them I sent you. That's how we got into projects. And from the projects, we moved to 1665 16th Street.
And you said in 1948 you paid $5,000?
We moved in that house in 1948. They paid $5,000 for it, and he paid for that house within a year.
Wow.
He sold homebrew, and he probably worked on every house from, I would say, at least 12th Street all the way back. Then the borough Steros, we bought the property for, worked on all their places down here.
And you were 6 years old when they bought that house?
I was 6 years old.
And what size house was it? How many bedrooms and whatnot?
Well, it had like a parlor and then another little room. And then I would say it was really a 2-bedroom house. But we used that little room and the front room where the parlor would have been and the 2 rooms on the side, so it ended up being 4 bedrooms. My grandparents had a bedroom. And during the interim of that year I'm speaking of, and even afterward, they rented those 3 other rooms out.
Oh, look at them.
Because black folks couldn't find nowhere to live, you know. And this is why, I want you to really get this one on that camera. This is why I know that we can get along. Each one of those men that he worked with, that he rented those rooms, had a woman. All of us lived in that house together, like the Mexicans do now, 2 or 3 families, you know. Now, nobody else had any children. I was the only child in the house. But each one of those women, including my grandmother, would fix their husband's dinner in the evening. They didn't all sit down together and either be the man and the woman, basically. But they would cook the dinner, clean up the kitchen. And now we have 1 bathroom in that house for all them folks. Not a squabble, not a ill word, nothing in the 40s and the early 50s. That we could do it, but we won't. We won't. We won't.
Do you remember any experiences in that house? Just like you mentioned, tell the story about going out to Walnut Creek in the picnic area. That was nice.
Well, they always did, you know, how, like Christmas, my grandfather, I remember Christmas, that ribbon candy and paint. He always painted something. And those, what do you call they, abalone shells? They'd be all over the house and they'd be full of fruit and nuts. And I said, Daddy, why you do that? He said, well, the painting is for renewal, you know, that's like the New Year's coming, you know, that kind of thing. But holiday season, it's for freshening up things and, you know, making things, you know, new again. And he told me, he said, for Christmas when I was a kid, I'd be lucky if I got an apple and a peppermint stick. And usually I'd get a pair of shoes, but I couldn't wear them because we were in the field all the time. And by the time they even thought about sending us to school, or I got, ready to put the shoes on, they were too small. And he never bought any cheap clothes. He had his suits made, he had his shirts made. He went and bought the best of hats and the best of shoes.
Because they never had
Otherwise, he
anything.
had his coveralls on, working. But he wouldn't buy nothing cheap.
Wow.
Nothing. Okay? Not clothes-wise.
And you said that who was it that would fry the chicken and make the food and you go out to Walnut Creek and picnic?
My mother and my grandmother. If my mother wasn't working over in Woodside or somewhere over there, because she usually got the jobs that was way over on the peninsula.
Oh, she had to go way over there.
Yeah, because me and Daddy would go pick her up. He'd take her over there. And
That's a long jump. That's like a good hour away.
Black folks did what they had to
That's
do.
right.
Just like we lived in that
Thank
house
you.
with all them
Yeah.
folks. That's why I'm living by myself today, because I don't want to sleep with nobody. I don't want nobody asking me nothing. I love living. I slept on a damn cot till I was damn near grown because they rented a room.
Right.
My mother was usually working, so and in later years, she kind of slacked off on the work, and she would be home more when she and my stepfather got together. But then he was in there, so I'm still on the cot. Then finally, I get a room by myself, and these people, start moving up, and I got two. I got a queen size and a king size bed in my house, and I sleep in both of them by myself.
Look at you, Miss
You
Maggie.
alternate bedrooms
Okay,
whenever
Miss
you want
Maggie.
to.
That was traumatic.
But that was interesting. You said Walnut Creek back in the 40s and 50s was nothing but orchards.
They didn't have like you could go to
Then you-
Walnut Creek now. As soon as you get off the freeway, you in town. First of all, there wasn't no freeway out there.
It's just a
There
road.
was no freeway going to Hayward.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, there was no freeway going to Fremont. There wasn't no Fremont. Fremont was fields.
Wow.
There was no Fremont.
Isn't that
They had Russell City, a little enclave with a old barn type thing, where people used to go out there and get drunk on the weekends and
I
dance
had
and
heard
drink.
of
Russell City.
And
I heard
and
of
some
it.
of the
know,
people
I
from
just-
some of the people from
Is that
the
near
South,
Hayward?
from the Union City.
Oh, near
Some of the
Union-
people in the South, because Daddy had a plot of land out there that he grew stuff on.
Wow.
And then, everybody in West Oakland at the time had a tree collar in their front yard and a garden.
I just
Everybody.
heard of Russell.
Everybody.
I just heard of Russell City for the first time
They still-
last month.
They still have some kind of
a blues festival.
they have some
out
kind of a
there.
thing out
Yeah,
there
they
still
do.
every year, every other year. Yeah.
I had never heard of Russell City until just
Yeah,
like a
see
few
lot
weeks
of black
ago.
People go out there, they dance, do the line dancing. I mean, a friend of mine took me to that event for the first time, and I was just amazed. There were so many people there just having a wonderful time. There was no conflict.
That's right.
And there were like thousands of people there.
And
It
back
was
in the
incredible.
day, they had a dairy out there, and I think it must have been a little like a cafe, because I would go out there like on Saturdays with my grandpa, and he would get these big, 25, 40-pound sacks of cow manure.
What?
Because
Oh
they had
wow.
a dairy out there. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And see, people are talking organic.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on organic food. I didn't even, people didn't go out to restaurants then. They cooked at home.
Yeah.
My people would get in the car and drive down to the valley and pick fruit and vegetables and canned stuff. We didn't have
And put them in those jars too. Those
mason
those
jars and stuff. I'm trying to think. Like people, you go to the store and you get a jar of preserves. and stuff. Mother, my grandmother and my mother made peach and pear preserves. That's what we ate with the biscuits and dry salt meat. And
Yeah, that's one of the things that's unfortunate is the younger generation. They don't know how to can and do all those sort of domestic things.
They
Some
don't
do.
have to. They eating the food that's
That's
killing
right,
them. They're
right.
satisfied with it, so it's all right. I'd give anything I own right today to get me a jar of those peach preserves that they used to. And all they did was like those enamel wash pans. We had a stove with 6 eyes on the top, and they would put that pan across 6 eyes. But I can't tell you how much sugar it took to make them. And my mother and or my grandmother and Miss Minnie, the neighbor next door, and Miss Green, they'd sit down and they would hand peel those
peel the
peaches
fruit.
and those pears. And and they would put them in that big like wash pan thing and put it on top of that stove. And you could smell it all over the neighborhood. It took a lot of sugar, a lot. But sugar was cheap then. You know, everything was cheap.
Wow.
Sugar was cheap then.
That's lovely, Miss Maggie. Thank you for that history.
Tell her about, Maggie, tell her about the restaurants and things that used to be right here in West Oakland.
Well, the Lavalleses came late, but down on 16th and Wood, where I live, they had this SP Hotel on what corner would that be? The northeast corner? That's apartments and stuff now, but that was the hotel where all the guys that they said used to run on the road, the porters at the train porters. And my cousin Herschel moved out here from Kansas City.
It's catty corner from the SP Hotel. I mean, from the B's Hotel.
Right.
Which is near the
Which
train
didn't used to be there. It was my mother-in-law's friend. I can never think of that lady's name. She and her sister had that cafe there.
Oh, cafe.
Because some of my sisters-in-law worked there when they were kids and teenagers and things. Then a little bit further down, there used to be a guy here in Oakland called Candyman McGirt.
Candyman McGirt.
He had a band, and he was big as this table. And he used to play at all the clubs downtown Oakland and all around here. But his mother had a candy store there. She made homemade candy.
Wow.
And we would go down there on the weekends, and she'd have like little pieces of stuff that that peppermint candy she made was so good. And the peanut brittle. And the peanut brittle.
I know that 7th Street, you know, back in the day when the Miss, what is the Orbit Room? Esther's Orbit Room and all of, and they had barbecue places and a hotel down there.
Barbecue.
Tell us about that time when it was really black-owned businesses that were thriving.
7th Street, when I was a kid and a young woman, before they took all those people's houses and businesses and put their post office down there. Like today, we have nothing. Nothing. We don't have a store. We have, well, if you want to call it that, one gas station down on 7th Street, but I don't call it that. Because we used to have one right here on 16th and Peralta.
Yes, I remember.
Mac, the guy that owned it, it's at McKinney Service. He lived with my grandparents until he died.
Wow.
Okay? And his wife, Miss Rogerine, moved out to East Oakland with her daughter and their grandchildren. And they kept in touch with us all those years. And me too, even after my grandparents died.
Wow.
Matter of fact, I needed something from Avon, and her granddaughter called me because I called the mother, her Miss Mac and Miss Rogerine's daughter. And she told me they don't make it anymore, which is not on just a whole lot of things they don't make anymore. But we had everything here. We had a pharmacy. We had a bank.
A bank.
On Bank of America on 7th Street. My best friend's
I didn't know it was a
my
B of A on
best friend's
7th.
father worked in the bank, Mr. Mouton. Okay.
I knew some moutons.
What else?
We knew some moutons
We had
in Menlo
everything
Park.
on 7th Street.
And what was the barbecue? I love barbecue, so I want to know how was the
Honey
what was the
Earl's was
barbecue?
the best. When I was pregnant, my son was born in 1960. I'd go down there, get my legs open and stick my belly out. And him and his sister made the salads and stuff and worked in there with me. And I sit down there and eat like a pig. Okay? Yeah, Earl's was done. That's some good barbecue too. And then there was another guy when I was a little girl, because my mother, what was his name? Barbecue Red or something. But he was down at the other end of 7th Street because I went in there with her a couple of times. He had a big pit and thing. And see, Esther's used to be on the other side of 7th Street where the post office is.
Oh.
It wasn't
know
where
that.
it is now. It was on the other side.
They're planning to. I attended one of the online community meetings, the Prescott Neighborhood Council, and this Black consortium is working on renovating Esther's Orbit Room and converting it into something, music and I've forgotten the details.
They took some community input to try to see what the community would like to see there. And so people were able to give written suggestions to them. And I hope
What
some
were
of
they,
it
Mary?
comes. A variety. It all depended on, what you'd like to see. Some people wanted to see a performance space. Some people wanted to have classes for
Yes, I
youth
think they
so
did
that they'd learn how to
plan
manage
classes.
their money and, have financial literacy and things like that. All of the ideas were good, art spaces.
Well, see, that's something that's lost.
Yeah.
The music, the culture, the art scene. We don't have it. We had a theater. I forgot about the theater.
Oh, like a movie theater?
Lincoln Theater.
Oh,
Now,
really?
what was his name? It wasn't
Now, was that black people owned it?
Black people owned everything on 7th Street.
Wow. Wow.
Even the junkyard down at the end where the train used to turn around.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was like a little Black Wall Street. Remember in
It was
what,
in
what
Black
was
Wall Street.
what was the one they burned down? It was in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. That's
Yeah.
right. They burnt it all
And they
down.
still digging up bodies around there from that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But see, if they don't find out one way to get you, they find another. The only way we get out of this mess is what the three of us have barely. Well, I didn't do it. My grandfather did. Somebody that couldn't even read and write. Goddamn, he could count. What I did, and what Richard Pryor said, didn't need pencil, no paper.
No paper. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he could count. But
No paper.
the only way we get around that is buy stuff, pool our resources, and put what we want where we want it.
Yeah.
And then they can come
Exactly.
burn it down or do something to try to get us out of it anyway. But see, money talking, BS walk.
Yeah.
See, look at that mess that
That's
Maryland's mayor got going on down there. That's all about money. And look at the scandal they got going. That's going to be a big mess before it's over. Watch and see. Be a big mess.
You notice she said, "My man." She disavowed herself from any part of it.
Maryland's mayor.
Maryland and Tamara's.
No.
Tamara's used to be.
No, I did vote for Shengtao, but I do feel like there's too many things going on. I'm not involved in the recall. I'm just going to let what happens. But I am disappointed. I felt like she was very enthusiastic and had a good head on her shoulders, and she does actually. But I think she may have gotten involved in some stuff. We'll just have to see how all this plays out.
What my favorite two programs are. And I might be a little bit out of touch, but American Greed
Oh yeah, I love that show.
and what's the one with Jane Mansfield's daughter?
Oh, the oh yeah Law and Order SVU.
I watch American Greed every weekend. They have from
I love that show.
early evening to late night.
That's
and
a
I
good-
just let in. People are
Just trying to
just
learn
look-
things. Yeah.
trying to see what is the
What
real
real
deal
deal?
with the greed.
Yeah.
And when you boil it down, they say somewhere in the Bible says money is the root of all.
Yeah.
They say the love of it.
The love of it. The love, yeah.
right.
When you love that more than you love integrity or people's honesty and all that stuff.
And
Yeah.
some of the things people do. But see, she had.
And
to
for
me-
power too.
Oh yeah.
Power.
Well, they go together.
Yes,
they
they
go
do.
together.
I want to be in power.
To me, she had. See, you gotta. At my age, what I understand is
And your age is, Miss Maggie?
81.
81.
Well, I say I've been on this earth 82 years because I spent 9 months in my mother's belly. But you got to watch really who, what, and how you move in this world. Because association by what is it?
Guilt by association.
All that kind of stuff really matters.
It does.
Depending on what you're trying to do. And some things you just can't brush away or brush off, She started out wrong. She got in with them dongs or doons or whoever they are, because they've been crooks ever since they took over that recycling thing. And then she's living with a black man that she ain't married to, which is her personal business. Don't get me wrong. But everybody gonna be looking at her.
I didn't know
Think
that
about it.
I didn't know until the
I didn't
FBI
either
raid
till I
that she
read
was living with a
But
man.
I mean, she.
And that she had a black boyfriend. Yeah, it's, I really.
See, and then as soon as something happens, all this mess comes out.
Yeah.
Not that you
Oakland-
got to broadcast what you do, but you got to be careful.
We need a good leadership. We have not had good leadership in Oakland forever. Forever.
I'm trying to think of when did we last have it, Marilyn? Elihu Harris had the nerve to make some comments the other day, and he wasn't doing nothing but giving out chicken dinner.
No, I didn't care for him. I didn't care for him. I didn't.
Oh Lord, I'm quiet on all counts because I don't know who has done what, and I actually like a number of the mayors.
But see, liking somebody is different than them being effective.
Turn the camera back around. Marilyn likes everybody.
Yes, she does. She
Marilyn
does.
thinks everybody's
That's
wonderful.
right.
I don't care what you got bad or good to say about them, they're wonderful.
That's right.
Okay?
Right.
So, and they love her too.
Right.
Don't
And
get
see,
me
just
wrong.
because somebody has a nice personality doesn't mean they know how to run anything. And also, Oakland just has a history of being, you talked about everybody lived in the house together and got along. Oakland has a history of people in politics not getting along. Everybody wants their own little power position. They're not really familiar how to negotiate.
And sometimes they'll sabotage, a good person and make them look bad when they're actually doing a good job. That's why I'm very careful about criticizing people because sometimes the circumstances. I thought that Mayor Jean Quan was an excellent mayor, but what happened? Occupied happened, and then the downtown went down, and it was so many things that she had to try to combat. And next thing you know, she was voted out of office, and then all the capable people that she had put in place. That one thing that I will say about our Oakland city government. The people who get in power, and like the mayors, they put in some capable people, and then those people leave with the administration. So you
But
keep
that's
you
what
keep.
most administrations
I know,
do, Marilyn.
but those are people who maybe had all the skills that was needed to run a city that
Suddenly gone.
were gone.
Yeah. And you have to start all over again.
And then you have to start all over, and then the knowledge is lost all along the way. I mean, and this starting over and over, this recall and all that stuff.
And the budget shortfall.
Yeah.
And then the police changing over every 5 minutes.
Exactly.
The police chief.
How
long will this one last?
That was a big mistake on her.
Let
But I understand that she got orders from somewhere on high to do that. That was connected to those mandates with those people that got that money, Marilyn.
Yeah, I know people that have been
God,
getting paid for giving counsel to the city
The riders
government.
thing, that riders thing. Remember when Ed and all of them got that money, and they had these things. What did they call? They had some mandates, and they tell me they had one more thing they had to do when they got rid of what's his name?
Who?
The chief. The chief.
Oh yeah, what's his name? The
Armstrong.
one that Armstrong.
Yeah, when they got rid of him, there was one more thing left on that list.
And I liked him.
Yeah, I think he would have.
Everybody
I think
liked
he would have done a good job. And then
Well,
they got.
he's running for city council.
Yeah, I saw. Laurent, is it Laurent Armstrong? Is that his name, Laurent?
Yes.
Well, Miss Maggie, thank you so much. I will put this on. If you don't mind, I'll put this up on YouTube.
Oh Jesus!
Well, you know what? I'll make it private so that only people who, it doesn't have to be public
I
if you don't
really
want.
care.
Okay, but then you'll be able to see it. So you'll be
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna turn it off now. But Maggie, thank you. That was